Welcome back to Soundbites, show about good people doing good things in the local food and drink industry. Today it's my pleasure to interview Mike Hogan. Mike is the brewmaster and a co-owner with Libra. Libra is probably the one of the foremost producers of non-alcoholic beer in the country. So welcome, Mike.
Hi, thanks a lot. Great to be here.
Yeah, so now this is a pleasure to talk to you because this is my first time chatting with Mike. I've definitely chatted to the Deb and Mitch.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations on the recent announcement that national distribution in Costco and in Loblaws and Sobeys, I believe. So
Yeah.
that's got to be, is that a certain amount of validation to you as a brewer, knowing not only is it a success for your company, but knowing that your beers have been accepted by the public so much that you've achieved this kind of national status?
No, what 100%. It's there's not very many brewers in Canada, like even making regular beers that have their products available in every province. So to, achieve that recognition with our non-alcoholic beer is huge, and for me, I just want to, get my baby out into as many hands as possible and get people enjoying everything that I've spent so much time working on to try and make taste as good as possible.
Yeah, and that's kind of key because making de-alcoholized or non-alcoholic products is actually in a lot of ways more complicated than producing the alternative. Um, I know you're not going to tell me the secret recipes behind what
Sure,
you
yeah.
do, but can you at least tell us if they are de-alcoholized or
Yeah, for
not?
sure. No, I can tell you a little bit, and yeah, no, you're right. It is really hard to make them, and I like to say that I had to, unlearn everything I knew about brewing and then relearn it and stitch the pieces back together in order to make our non-alcoholic beer. So, one thing that's unique about ours, I guess, is that we're not using any specialized equipment to de-alkalize the beer, which can have some flavor implications and whatnot. So we wanted to be able to just brew it like a regular beer, but have it come out as non-alcoholic, which is depending on the country and whatnot. But yeah, typically under 0.5% is would be considered non-alcoholic, and so it does ferment. It does have some small amounts of alcohol, and it's made with the same regular ingredients, just different malts and different hops, and there's more things you have to be sort of more sensitivities, I guess, as far as like bitterness and sweetness and flavors and all that to try to keep in balance.
So in a way, like when I think of de-alcoholization, I think of things like vacuum distillation, where they are in essence stripping out a lot of volatile aromatics along with the alcohol, but they're stripping out a lot of different things out, and then they're trying to re-put things back in as best they can. If I understand, so you're fermenting to a very low percentage of alcohol. So are you almost in a sense then reconstructing in a way, like in the sense that you're getting a little bit of esters from the yeast in the
Yeah.
fermentation, but in essence, you're almost so you're building it up. Is that a fair way to look at it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, looking at the standard flavor matrix for beer, like the alcohol does add a lot of like flavor and sweetness to the beer, and then you also have your malt, you have your esters and phenolic or whatnot compounds from yeast, you have your hops, your bitterness, your floral, your citrus, your tropical aromas, and then without that sweetness in there for the beer, there's a big hole in that flavor matrix. So yeah, trying to fill the gaps in the other areas, to try to give as much flavor, but also if you go too heavy, like on the hopping, for example, you go too heavy, then that bitterness really sticks out like a sore thumb and almost could make the drink undrinkable, as far as the bitterness goes. So it really is a fine line that you have to ride as far as those different flavors that you're stacking, I guess, from the ingredients.
And you're in a sense different than the old school of non-alcoholic beer. If I think back to my first non-alcoholic beers I saw at the bottom shelf of the grocery store, the Becks and the other lagery, but somewhat, I don't want to say generic, but you know, not super characterful. You're actually identifying your non-alcoholic brews by oftentimes some classic beer styles.
Yeah.
Um, there are a lot. Are you transitioning? The beer geeks, and you probably are one. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're one. And the BJCP people, the judges, all that, who really align to style and have these
Yeah.
very particular. Are you trying to do the same thing, or are you just trying to do the best you can to
Yeah.
kind of fit it into a style that somebody might recognize?
No, no, exactly. And to your point, yeah, I am a craft beer nerd and or enthusiast or whatever term we wanna we wanna use these days. But yeah, like we coming from the craft beer world, we wanted to bring the same kind of variety of styles into Libra with the non-alcoholic beers. So we have our classic pale ale and IPA and Pilsner kind of styles, and then we have our stout and then we kind of have some a little bit more fun and interesting beers as well in the lineup, like the cherry sour. We have the lime lager, just a little bit more of a different flavor profile, and then one of the latest seasonals that we did, which I think maybe one of the first non-alcoholic saisons that I've come across, at least in Canada, and maybe not too many in the U.S. But yeah, we did this lemongrass ginger saison that's has some of that yeast character. It's hard to get a lot out of it because a lot of that comes from the fermentation of like high amounts of sugar into alcohol and traditional saisons. But then we kind of boost up that flavor with some lemongrass and some ginger to kind of give it some nice kind of herbal floral notes. So it's kind of like a beer tea hybrid kind of thing going
Yeah, so
on.
is there almost like a little? I mean, because you're actually almost combining brewing and cooking in a way. Yeah, or
Yeah.
so do you have almost like an advantage over your traditional brew guys, where you can, who often are limited to the Reinheitsgebot and or feel a little more limited in what they can do. It must give you a lot of creative freedom.
Yeah, for sure. No, there's a lot of creative freedom, and then under the constraint of that like flavor matrix kind of thing that I was talking about, where you can't go too heavy in in one area. So it's all still about really light, pleasant, kind of drinkable, sort of approachable beers.
And so when it comes to deciding what's next, like, so when you're thinking about the saison, is that led by consumer demand, or is that led by Mike, Mitch, and Deb creativity? Like, do you,
It's
do
on.
you, do
I
you
would.
just say, "Oh, well, geez, the market needs a saison. Let's make a saison," or the consumers the report says we should make one, or are you coming up with stuff you just think is cool?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of both. Honestly, we do want people to buy the product, obviously. So we don't want to make anything that's too wacky or out there or whatnot. But we do want to have some creativity and fun with the recipes that we're making. So and there's a bit of market research going on out there, but there really isn't a whole lot of variety in the in like the non-alcoholic craft beer market space either. So it kind of is a combination of seeing what other people are making, in the U.S. or in Canada, but also leaning into our own expertise in the world of craft beer and coming up with something brand new again, like the lemongrass ginger saison, which doesn't sound all that out there as far as like a regular craft beer style, but it's not something that people are. It's not something that people are asking for. I guess we'll say that. So we're kind of taking the lead and trying to draw people into a new flavor experience there.
Right, and you must be finding people that you didn't expect walking into the non-alcoholic, or at least when you originally, I think of when the craft non-alcoholic start, we were really talking about Gen and the millennials and the new generation of that maybe looking at healthier lifestyles, you know, and choosing non-alcoholic for that or lower calories. But I'm assuming there's more guys with gray hair like me that are
Yeah.
drinking this than maybe you originally anticipated.
No, no, for sure. And it's a little bit, it's different in, a lot of craft brewers, you start off making beers for yourself, honestly, for you and your friends to drink, and hopefully it becomes popular enough with people outside that you have a viable business going on. And with the Libras, it's a little bit different. We're not just making stuff for ourselves, and it is all demographics, really. Um, there's lots of reasons why people aren't drinking alcohol or are reducing alcohol. It could be health reasons. You don't want to have a heavy afternoon after having a couple pints. You want to go for a run in the morning. You have an important meeting. There's lots of reasons to abstain from alcohol, and I'm really thankful to have it as an option, a really accessible option in my life now too. And it's you don't need to have regular beers all the time, and you feel a lot better for it. Everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I make a living in this world too, and I find myself starting an evening with non-alcoholic beer as a way to say, okay, I'm still might have a glass of wine or two, but
Yeah,
I end up having a beer, non-alcoholic beer or something or two as a start, and that just kind of keeps everything in balance. I find when so that instead of going the other direction sometimes, and then the two glasses of wine become two more beers, and then da 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 da.
yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, so we got a whole lot. I think we should pick a couple beers and
Yeah,
try. So I think maybe a couple of the summary ones for sure.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I talked about the lemongrass ginger saison enough that I feel like we should probably
That
get
or
on with
should
the
we try
show
the
and
Mexican
try.
lime first?
Sure. I mean, they're all
What?
they're all really light in flavor. I guess, yeah. As far as kind of going from lighter to heavier flavors, maybe we could try the lime lager, and we could try the saison, and maybe finish off with some of the
The
Libra IPA.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna crack them on.
Yeah,
See if you have one with you. So I assume modeled after Mexican style lagers, or
yeah, yeah, exactly. So just meant to be very, very light flavored, low in hop, and kind of the equivalent of a squeeze of a slice of lime into into the beer kind of thing. Yeah,
just yeah, really really light, really a little bit nice little citrus element on the palate. Just
yeah,
super
and you get it.
refreshing and easy to drink. Right, this is your
Yeah,
definitely your patio non-alcoholic beer sitting out hot day.
yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
a few tortilla chips and
Oh,
some guac
100%.
or salsa on the side, and just kind of
Yeah,
coffer. I would say.
no, totally. And it doesn't have corn in it, but it does have that kind of a corn sweetness a bit in the finish
Right,
too
but
that
it's
complements the
malted
lime.
barley base.
Yeah, it's all barley in the base. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
So
there's a
then
little bit of salt in there too that I
okay. So yeah,
forgot.
that's
Just
now I know like talking to the Benjamin Bridge and for the some their non-alcoholic products, they tend to add a little sea salt too. And salt, I assume, is just kind of bringing out or enlivening flavors a little bit. Is that the purpose?
Yeah, exactly. It's just some extra seasoning to enhance the flavor. And yeah, we do use a little bit of salt in some of the other beers too. And then this one just has a little bit more to that you can kind of taste it a little bit in the finish kind of thing. Yeah, and I made a heck of a michelada recipe too using this one.
Nice. Okay.
That goes really well too. That maybe I'll send it to you later.
Yes, please do,
Yeah.
because yeah, that could be for the long weekend is coming up.
Yeah, totally.
Lemongrass.
Yeah, so
saison.
lemongrass ginger saison. So yeah, this one, like I said, pretty unique in the craft beer world and non-alcoholic space. And so yeah, the malt, it's using all PEI barley and wheat as well in it, and yeast from Scarpment Laboratories, the Canadian Yeast Lab in Ontario, and then sort of enhanced with some a lemongrass and ginger tea, I guess we'll say, that we sort of blended in
Right,
there.
right,
Yeah.
because it's not. So it is lemongrass tea.
Well, I mean, I made it. I guess we made it was lemon. We bought like dried lemongrass or whatever, and
Yeah.
I made a giant batch of tea to sort of blend back into the beer. Yeah.
Is there a slight hop addition too? Because is there a
No, so that would like there's the lemon, like all that citrus would be coming from there. Well, I guess there is a small, very small hop addition, but I would say that it's overshadowed by the lemongrass, and there is a hint of lemon juice added to it as
hmm.
well too, to add a bit of acidity and brighten up the drink too.
So again,
Yeah.
it's kind of similar vein in that it's really refreshing, not heavy. Probably could be a similar idea. You could probably enjoy that on the at a hot day.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah. And
maybe
it's not
maybe
sweet. Both of these.
maybe some PI oysters with a nice little Asian influenced mignonette or something like that,
No, yeah, no,
uh,
that's a great
uh,
call. Yeah,
or a
a little
few
bit of
shrimps, simply sautéed in a little ginger and lemongrass too, little
yeah,
peppers and yeah.
some sriracha and green onion and ginger or something. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, and you guys, I mean, I assume you do. I mean, is this is part of it? You enjoy it with food?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, yeah, big food got lover as well, and love cooking and all that too. So it's nice to complement all those flavors. Yeah.
So, do you think when you have like IPA, and that's what I'm pouring now, is that
Yeah.
kind of like it's still amongst like craft beer enthusiasts? IPA is kind of your I wouldn't say calling card, but it is the measurement for a lot of breweries and craft
Well,
efficient beer
yeah.
now measure
No,
you. Is
IPA is
that
still
what you
king.
do? Do you
Yeah.
think the same is in the non-alcoholic vein?
Well, yeah, 100%. And actually, the almost 75 to 80% of our sales in Libra is just between the pale ale and the IPA. So,
Okay.
um, the same as in the world, regular craft beers, people are, looking for those like hop forward kind of flavors. Yeah. Yeah. And, with the beer styles, it's never going to taste as, full and sweet and bitter and aromatic as a regular IPA, but we're trying to come up with our version of what a non-alcoholic um, for tastes like, and it's gonna be lighter, and it's lower in calories and all that, but it still kind of scratches some of the same itch of those flavors and aromas that people are looking for in an IPA. Yeah,
And I
so
mean, you're getting some of those what you associate with yeast aromatics on the nose. Like you get
yeah, no, 100%, and it is dry hopped as well, like a regular IPA would be, just not as heavily, of course, because you can start to get some bitter and green and vegetable kind of flavors coming through if you go too heavy with it. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, it certainly has, especially when you come that nose and that first sip, it really takes you back to the IPA, and then it comes a little more of the refreshing cleansing
yeah,
and the non-alcoholic in the back end, where you don't quite get that kind of bitter punch that sometimes you get from
yeah. No,
other IPA.
exactly, and this would go well with a nice, like a nice grilled sandwich or some nachos, pulled pork, cheese kind of thing going on. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a feeling Mike's a cook. So,
yeah, yeah.
that's awesome. So, and then are you constantly working on new recipes? So we got a bunch of these out in the stores now. We got those obviously what we identified as these summer seasonals. Anything coming up we should
Yeah,
know about,
well,
or you can tell us about?
Yeah, well, I guess we don't have any, like, I guess we don't haven't quite decided exactly what it's going to be, but we are, yeah, working on a plan for fall, winter seasonal, I guess, yeah. And we do already have a stout, which is nice there, but yeah, just looking, yeah, trying to come up with, again, excuse me, something kind of unique, um, to sort of complement maybe the cooler weather. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So
Yeah,
anyway, so thanks for talking, Mike. And one, two, before we close out, I should remind guests too, not only is Libra high quality non-alcoholic beer, but it's also the company is your B Corp certified,
that's right.
correct?
Yeah, we are B Corp
Which
certified.
is incredibly important. For those that may not be aware, B Corp really means that it's you're sustainable not only in terms of the environment, but looking after employees and serving your community. So, and it's very accountable in that way. So, I think one, thanks for making good beer, but thanks for being a good corporate citizen by going that extra step to get B Corp.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. And yeah, it's something that we're really proud of to have, and definitely you know, takes some extra work to and decision making and whatnot to you know, not just put profits first like a lot of businesses. And we're looking at, you know, what are the other stakeholders in our business, and it's, you know, between our staff and our community and the environment and the people that we're buying things, and a whole host of other criteria that we have to
Yeah,
work
I'm sure
through.
we could do a day long discussion on all the B Corp requirements.
Yeah, no, 100%. And oh yeah, and I also wanted to mention with the Libra IPA, we are in the Costco stores in Atlantic Canada now, and you can get a 12 pack of it for only 19.99, which is
That's
quite
crazy.
substantial savings compared to, yeah, getting it from other sources. So
Oh,
yeah, that'll be around for the rest of the summer.
awesome. Hopefully longer. So thanks
Yeah.
again, Mike.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Mark. Had a great time.